either a regular or a volunteer for the TA has to go on a 6-week training session, which kind of brings them up to speed and brings them kind of into, I don't know,
into that mindset sort of thing.
into the mindset of kind of, you know, what they're going to go into. They've got to make sure they're up to date with training and make sure they're kind of rethinking about what they used to learn. Good. Because it'll be a long time since they did like the initial training.
In essence, a bit like Lauren was saying, sort of refresher training. Good. Okay, moving on to the accident prevention then. Can you kick me off, please, Hannah?
Accident prevention is ensured by the Uniform Public Service that there's going to be no kind of injuries. It's the manager's kind of job to make sure that he looks at everything and make sure that they're all doing what they need to do, they're not messing around, that they're all safe with the equipment that they're given. And that if they didn't know what they were doing, that they would come to them and they'd brief them again on what to do.
Okay, so Lauren, any additional points on the accident prevention?
Simply having a good relationship with the different staff. That helps prevent it helps prevent accidents.
And why is that? Just explain that to me a bit further.
They get on better.
Yeah.
They're more aware of the area around them as they know each other.
Yeah.
And they look out for each other.
Yeah, good. That's right.
Always follow rules. I had an example from the fire and rescue service. As a firefighter going into a burning building, that firefighter will have before a risk assessment. They'll have personal protective equipment and the training, which makes the operation that they're doing more safer and prevents accidents.
Yeah, good, exactly that. Well done. Okay, into 2.4 then. What incidents will be investigated then? Can you start me off, please, Anna?
I've got a list of...
Just give me the first 3 that you've got.
Death, injury and slip.
Okay, stop there. Just explain those incidents a bit more. So death, obviously, self-explanatory. It's all ceased. What was the next one?
Injury.
Okay, what type of injury are we talking about?
If you are at a height,
good.
You could be on a scissor lift or you could be
good.
climbing a building or something.
Yep.
If you fall or you slip or you kind of cut yourself, that's under the injury part where you've got to kind of get first aid.
Well done, stop there. Laura, carry on.
I had near misses,
good.
Something that had the potential to cause harm.
Good, yeah.
A dangerous occurrence, a number of reporting events, which is all under Radio Act.
Yep.
A hazard, something that has the potential to cause harm, something that would damage property, products or the environment. Yeah,
good. Okay, that is an incident. So we've got death, injury, we've got dangerous occurrences, near misses, and anything else? Another one beginning with a D?
Diseases.
Well done, diseases. Again, you said it was under RIDDOR. Okay. Right, explain the process that the public services use then, Lauren. Sorry, the process. Explain the process they use.
They have 4 steps.
Okay, just take me through the first 2, please.
Step 1, gathering the information.
Yeah.
Step 2, analysing the information.
Now, explain to me why them 2 steps are important.
Because before any investigation starts, the scene needs to be preserved and information needs to be collected from anyone who is involved.
Yeah.
All information gathered is highly important to an investigation.
Of course.
Analysing the information is basically in the name. You need to look through all the information, find out what happened, what was the cause, any details to why it happened and what wasn't done.
Did you look at a reference for this to find this information out?
I looked at compensation claims.
Sorry, did you look at a reference that gave you the information on what would be investigated, what the types of investigations were? The Health and Safety Executive reference?
I looked at the Health and Safety Executive website on how to investigate incidents.
That's right, good, okay. And it was fairly explanatory then, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a standard procedure, is it?
standard, yeah.
Okay. Moving on, Hannah, can you complete the other things that will be investigated, please?
After they have to kind of analyse them, they have to review them and look at kind of if there was anything that was not looked at really by the management. And if there was, they have to then bring it up with the manager and find out the reason why that was not looked into.
Explain the purpose of this then. Why is this so important?
Because it prevents it from happening in the future.
Good.
And it stops anyone else being injured.
Okay, what implications might we have then if reports are made and investigations are carried out? What implications for the uniformed services in particular may there be?
The injured or the harmed could claim compensation.
Good. Okay, stop there. Give me another one.
There's notices that kind of...
What sort of notices, please?
There's 3 main notices. The prohibition notice, the improvement notice and the crown notice.
Good. Okay, Lauren, can you carry on with your examples then, please?
I found an example from the HSE website. The headline was Scottish Fire and Rescue Service at Edinburgh High Court in relation to the death of a firefighter, Ewan Williamson.
Good.
In this case, Ewan Williamson's employers should have ensured firefighters were given clear instructions and training,
Good, well done.
which caused them to claim compensation as it was proved that they wasn't done.
So did you get a figure that it was compensated?
It didn't give you
All right.
figures.
No worries. Okay, no worries. But there was compensation.
There was compensation.
Anna, did you find anything in terms of evidence?
I didn't get any evidence on it, but I found that alongside getting fined, you can get imprisoned.
Okay, and did you find the sort of like times of imprisonment?
You can get 1 to 2 years imprisonment for not complying with the rules.
Can we try and find some example? That'd be good. Yep. Okay, so evaluation in the last section. It says what consequences may have to be accepted by an organisation. And it's quite a difficult question really, it's quite complex. If somebody has an accident or an injury, what are the consequences that are a result of that on the organisation? So Anna, can you start me off with one you found?
I've got costs.
Good. Can you highlight what them might be?
In costs, I've got compensation, sick pay, loss
Stop
of
there.
working.
Just talk about compensation then. So, okay, well, somebody's gone away, there's an accident. What compensation might we be talking about?
They can acquire for 20k, up to 20k
Yeah.
fine.
Good.
Or they can get the manager imprisoned for 1 to 2 years.
And the previous example that Lauren gave, that's an example, isn't it, of consequence, yeah? Of compensation. Can you tell me about sick pay as well, please?
Cost of overtime to meet shortfalls of staff.
Good.
So they're going to have to pay the person who's been sick.
Yes, and
the people that are trying to do their job as well.
Well done. Lauren, can you take over, please?
Lost working days.
Okay, explain that more, please.
Losing working time, as there isn't the correct staff to cover that person that was ill or off work.
Good.
That creates them to be behind in time because they can't respond as quick to
operational need. Yeah.
The workforce then becomes more stretched. I got a news feed. According to the BBC News, more than 53,000 Police Scotland working days were lost to stress in 2015.
53,000 working days.
It explained that their staff needed more support to cope with the situations they were in.
Did you get the time frame of that? Because obviously that's a workforce, and they're doing it over 1 year, and it's over the number of employees within the firm. It just seems massive. That. I'll come back to you on that. Okay, while you're finding that, Hannah. How about changes to working environment? Can you explain that to me, please?
If there's a lot of people going off on sick or not turning up to work, it could dishearten the other people because they're going to have to carry on doing the other people's jobs alongside their own, and they're going to get tired, and it could lead to a high staff turnover.
Okay, yeah.
because they just want to leave the
Yeah.
job and get a new one because they
Yeah.
don't want to be doing everyone else's work.
Sure.
And there'll come a lack of trust within the employers
Mm.
and employees because they won't trust someone else to be there, or they
Yeah.
won't trust them to turn up.
And they won't trust them to look after health and safety, will they? Yeah. Yeah, good. A lot of that's on culture, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of that's about the working culture of an of an organisation. Laura, have you any other changes that might
It was
occur?
53,000 working days lost
Yeah.
throughout the past 2 years.
Well done. 2 years. That
Yeah.
did seem a lot. Wow, it's still a lot, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, can you give me any perhaps changes to the work environment that might have consequences? There might be a consequence of people having injuries and accidents.
People may not be trained to deal with what environment
Good.
it is
Yeah.
in.
So an increase in training. Anything else might happen as a change to your working environment?
You may not get on with the staff in that